Good evening everyone, and as you all know that today was the very first paper of class 10th students, so I'm damn sure that all the 10th students out there must have done a great job in their very first paper, and it was of English. So I'm here to discuss with you the first set of that paper, and the very first section is section A, reading skills. So both the passages, there were two passages and each passage contains 8 to 9 questions. In the first passage there were 8 questions and in the second passage there were 9 questions. So we are going to start with the very first passage, which was on ChatGPT, and it's saying that first you need to read the passage very carefully. So let's read the passage. ChatGPT can search, it cannot research. The platform has attracted the world's attention because of the speed with which it assembles and produces information in a logical sequence powered by artificial intelligence, as if a human being were prompting it to write. Curious about understanding what ChatGPT can do, I opened an account and asked if it would replace research in the future. Promptly it replied, as an AI language model, I don't hold personal beliefs, but I can present arguments on both sides of the topic. The answer amused me. The speed with which it typed the information across the screen was mind-boggling. As we all know that ChatGPT is basically in trend these days, so CBSE has taken this particular comprehension out of that particular thing. I could not read the answer as fast as it typed out the sentence, but when it had finished, I read through the document. It was impressive. It was truly informative. Next paragraph, 5 different points had been explained briefly in seconds. बहुत ही कम समय में ChatGPT जो है टॉपिक्स को बहुत easily explain कर देता है. I would have thought of those 5 points in an hour or more, depending on the complexity of the topic. AI Catalyst, Not Conqueror, ChatGPT and the Future of Research was the title that it threw up to my question. It matched my opinion about the future of research after ChatGPT. Basically, ChatGPT का future, Google, before it was Google, जहाँ पर हम सब search करते थे, and now it's ChatGPT. And how it works, this paragraph actually tells that the write-up had an introduction and a conclusion, just as our English teachers have taught us. Basically, in every paragraph, we are saying that there must be an introduction, there must be a conclusion. In the same way, here also there is a conclusion and as well as an introduction. The document came from countless databases, as that is what it's designed to do. By contrast, when I researched a subject for an 800-word article, I visit 5 or 6 authoritative sources. I don't go to a million as most are copies. The difference between write-up of ChatGPT and my research article is the former is a mere summary. When I write, I research new ideas and knit them in a way that reflect my thoughts and perspectives. Basically, in this paragraph, they are explaining that how convincing ChatGPT is for in today's research. I choose only what is original, unique, fresh and process them in my mind to create a fresh angle. 7th paragraph states that research has no value if it only summarizes known information. Basically, research की कोई value नहीं होती है अगर वो same information को summarize करता है. Even a literature survey in your subject requires you to say what you will do with it further and how. Research is not a joke. Years ago, I had asked my professor, later on my supervisor, how can I publish an article in research journal? मैं कैसे कोई article research journal में publish कर सकता हूँ? It's very important, students, first to understand what the particular reading comprehension wants to tell you. Then only you can justify your answers really very well. He answered, when you have read everything on the subject and have something original to add to the existing body of research, my head swam. The last paragraph states that excellent research is a daunting task and calls for hard intellectual work. बेहतर results के लिए it takes a lot of efforts. When you research, you don't go wide, you go deep. You thoroughly investigate a minor concept, researching it extensively, substantiating each claim with reliable sources. Basically, it's our habit that we match all the answers and different searching paths, okay? So this is the one way how we are making our search reliable. ChatGPT can summarize these years to discover the atom and the theory of gravitation. ChatGPT can summarize these discoveries, but it cannot add to them. A search app can only summarize the things, but it cannot develop them, okay? But it cannot add to them. It does not have the mental ability for that. Basically, if we are searching something on Google or either ChatGPT, they don't have their own minds to create it. They are just summarizing the things which are already given over there. Let's start discussing the answers on the basis of this particular paragraph. The very first question was, which of the following statements best summarize the author's view about ChatGPT? So the correct answer is D. It can only search but not research. As if in the last paragraph also I have already told you that ChatGPT can only search. It can't do research for you because it doesn't carry any mind of itself. Next one is, what did the professor suggest to the author's question of how he could publish his research journal? So the answer is, the professor suggested that to publish a research journal, one must read everything on the subject and contain something original. To add to the existing body of research, an outstanding research includes deep investigation. एक अच्छी research के लिए हमें topic को अच्छे से investigate करना चाहिए. Extensive research, उसकी depth में जाना चाहिए. And substantial efforts and our own efforts to research about that. And you can just find this answer over here. Okay, when he is asking his professor that there is something original, unique and fresh, and how he can just find it out. So in your around 4th, 5th and 6th paragraph, you will get that answer. Next is question number 3. It's analogy based question. So dependable, reliable, rational is logical. Next one is 4th question. Mention one basic difference between the write-up of ChatGPT and the author's research article. The basic difference between the write-up of ChatGPT and author's research article is that the write-up of ChatGPT is just a summarized version. It's just a summarized version which is summarized by some other person. Okay, it's not a research. Whereas the write-up of the author includes thoroughly researched ideas. We have already discussed this thing in our previous questions. Okay. The author's ideas are fresh, unique and original, which are processed in his mind to form a fresh angle. Next is complete the sentence appropriately. The author noticed that the write-up produced by ChatGPT had an introduction and a conclusion, just as he learnt in his English class, but it still lacked what? Originality, okay, uniqueness and fresh perspective. That means new ideas, originality and uniqueness. 6th question is, the author was moved by the dash with which the ChatGPT was producing the article, speed. Okay, ChatGPT is known for its speed. So he was really moved by that particular thing. State whether the given statement is true or false. Research is not beneficial if it only summarizes the known information. True. अगर हम ऑलरेडी गिवन इंफॉर्मेशन को ही समझाने लग गए तो फिर रिसर्च का कोई मतलब ही नहीं बनता है. Quote the answer of ChatGPT from the above given passage when it was asked whether it would replace research in the future. As an AI language model, I don't hold personal beliefs, but I present arguments on both sides of the topic. But they basically present arguments for both the sides, okay? If there are negatives, there are positives also there on ChatGPT. Okay, so this was our very first passage. And I'm sure that many of you must have got the correct answers. So now let's jump on to our next passage. Okay, let's start reading. The very first paragraph states that the climate and landscape in Uttarakhand vary greatly with altitude 186, 7,619 meters from the largest glaciers in the higher elevation to the subtropical forest in the lowest elevation. The lowlands along the border of UP are covered by the drier Terai savanna grasslands. The moist deciduous forest of the upper Gangetic plains form the Bahabar belt due to the extensive agricultural practices. Most of these lowland forests have been cleared. Snow and bare ice occupy the highest altitudes. So basically, this particular passage talks about climate and the landscape. Okay, there are some technical words which might have really confused you guys, but we are going to discuss the answers thoroughly. This state occupies 53,483 square kilometers. Out of 13 districts, Uttarkashi occupies the maximum area of 8,039 square feet, while Champavat covers the minimum area of 1,634 square feet kilometers. Uttarakhand experiences 4 types of seasons. There are 4 types of seasons basically in Uttarakhand. Monsoon, June to September, post-monsoon, October to November, cold weather, December to February, and pre-monsoon, March to May. The normal annual precipitation in the state is 1446. Rain usually starts at the end of April and lasts until September. The monsoon rainfall is 78% of the annual rainfall. This makes the state prone to flood during monsoon. Bhageshwar receives the maximum normal annual rainfall of 1872. 81% falls of this rainfall occurs in the monsoon season. Haridwar receives the minimum normal annual rainfall. Okay, so Haridwar में सबसे minimal normal rainfall होती है. Why we are reading these passages? Just to ensure that when we are going to discuss the answers, there must be no confusion that from there where the answers are. Due to the differences in topographical features, the temperatures vary widely. During March and April, temperatures rise until they peak in May and June, when the mean maximum temperature in the southern and valley regions is between 34 degree and 38 degrees Celsius, and the mean minimum temperature is between 20 degree and 24 degrees Celsius. Temperatures can reach 42 degrees Celsius in the valleys and southern half of the state, and 30 degrees Celsius in 2 kilometers high elevation on some days. Day and night temperatures begin to dip around the end of September and reach the lowest in January and earlier February. January is the coldest month. Okay, so while reading the passage, even you can mark some of the important points with which you can get the help in your answers. The mean maximum and mean minimum temperature range from 10 degree to 12 degrees Celsius at altitudes of 2 kilometers. Okay, so this was your second passage all about regarding climate and landscape. Let's discuss the answers. So the very first question is, fill in the blanks suitably. The variance in climate and landscape of Uttarakhand as per paragraph 1 is marked by altitude. We have read this particular paragraph. It is marked by altitude. Greatly with altitude. The climate and landscape in Uttarakhand vary greatly with altitude. The second question is, based on your understanding of the paragraph 2, fill in the blank with the appropriate option from those given in brackets. Most of the lowland forests are dash due to the dash agricultural practices. They are very cleared and large scale. Okay, why? Because there is an appropriate amount of rainfall, and even though there is an appropriate amount of climate, they are having all kinds of climate. The third question is, based on the passage, which of the districts has a lowest rainfall in Uttarakhand? It's Haridwar. Okay, it's 1107. Okay, so there is a lowest rainfall and a normal rainfall is there in Haridwar. Next is, in the given sentence taken from paragraph 3, select the option that correctly replaces the underlined word with its most likely antonym Rain usually starts at the end of April and lasts until September. So, it's starts. So, starts का antonym क्या होगा? It's ends. Okay. The word is starts and the antonym of starts is end. Next is, this makes the state of Uttarakhand prone to flood during monsoon. Justify the statement with reference to the passage given above in 30 to 40 words. Uttarakhand experiences normal annual rainfall, as we have already discussed that. Annual precipitation of 1446 millimeter and annual rainfall about 78%, which makes it from to flood during monsoon. Okay. So, if it gets extra rainfall, so it is about to get flood over there. Sixth question says that which two districts have maximum and minimum rainfall in the state? It's Bhageshwar and Haridwar. And one of the answers again repeated, that's Haridwar. Seventh question is, complete the given table. Assertion is the temperatures vary widely in the state of Uttarakhand because of the topographical differences in its features. Okay, because of different kind of features, and the temperature is changing in Uttarakhand. So, you are going to give the reason for this particular sentence. Eighth question is, how is Bahabar belt formed? It is formed by the most deciduous forest of the upper Gangetic plains. Next is, state which of the given statements is not true. January is the coldest month with an average maximum temperature of 20 degree and an average lowest temperature of 6 degree. First point. Second is, the mean maximum and mean minimum temperatures range from 15 to 20 degree at altitudes of 2 km. So, A1 is true because we have already read that in the above paragraph, that January is the coldest month, and B is false. Okay. Okay. So, this was your section A, reading skills. I am hoping that in the second passage also most of you are getting the correct answers. And now the next comes is section B. So, let's talk about section B is of grammar and creative writing skills. So, very first question is of grammar. The third question states, from the third question we are beginning grammar. So, let's start discussing. Complete any 10 of 12 of the following task as directed. आपको 12 क्वेश्चन में से 10 क्वेश्चंस करने थे. So, the very first question was, replace the underlined word used in the sentence with the best option given below. Born in 1872, Richard Wilstetter was a chemist who invents the process of paper chromatography. Invents. But ये हम कब की बात कर रहे हैं? 1872 की. So, it's in past tense. So, this question was of tense and the correct answer is invented. That is option D. Second question is, Rahil and Somil decided to reach the theatre at 5 p.m. Report the question asked by Rahil to Somil. This particular question was from reported speech and you were supposed to convert it from direct to indirect. Which movie are we going to watch? So, here the question is beginning from WH family. So, we all know that the connector, when the question begins from WH family, the connector should also be from WH family. So, it will be which Rahil asked Somil. Rahil ne Somil se पूछा. Rahil asked Somil which movie. First subject comes, then the verb they. We is the first person plural, so it will change to they. Are again in plural, past tense will be were. They were going to watch. Which movie they were going to watch. Third question. Read the given line and identify the error. When the rounds were completed, the hurdle and mazes appeared on the appropriate places. When the rounds had completed. जब rounds खत्म हो गए थे, so it's in past perfect tense. So you are going to use had. Next is fill in the blank to complete this message in a poster for safety. Our planet is precious and only we dash save it. We can save it. It's about the ability. So we are using can. Okay. So the correct option is D. This particular question is from modals. Next is select the option that identifies the error and supplies the correction for the line given below. In earlier times, public libraries plays an important role in the lives of the people. Plays. No, we are talking about earlier times. So, plays won't come, it will be played in past tense. Again, this particular question was from tense. Next is again from reported speech. Report the dialogue between a guard and a visitor by completing the sentence. Guard: good morning, sir. Park your car in the visitor's parking area. Visitor: okay, please help me park my car in the visitor's parking area. The guard greeted the visitor and told him to park his car at the visitor's parking area. At this, the visitor requested. Why we are using the word requested instead of said to? Because here the word please is written. So, requested him to help him. The connector in imperative sentences is to. Okay, to help, me की जगह क्या आ जाएगा? Him. To park his car in the visitor's parking area. To help him park his car. My का क्या हो जाएगा in possessive? It will be his car in the visitor's parking area. Okay. Next. Identify the error and supply correction for the following pre-flight announcement before takeoff. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on board flight 487 flying from Hong Kong to San Francisco. We are greatly third in line for takeoff and were expected to be in the air in approximately 7 minutes time. Use the given format for your response. So, basically, as you can read this particular line, we are currently third in line. Okay, third in line for takeoff and were expected. Were expected? No, we are expected. Okay, it will be were is incorrect and are is correct. This was from error spotting and the next is again from reported speech. जैसे कि आप सब लोग देख सकते हो, there are maximum questions from tense and dialogue completion from reported speech. Select the correct option to complete the reporting of the dialogues given below. Mother: why are not you? Why aren't you playing with your friends? Ryan: I am not feeling well today. Mother asked Ryan. There was a question. Why aren't you playing with your friends? So, again it's starting with WH. So, the connector will again WH. Why he was not playing with his friends. Okay, so the correct option is D. Why he was not playing with his friends. Okay, so the correct option is option D. Next is the 9th question. Fill in the blank choosing the most appropriate option. The news about the retirement of my favorite character gave me dash disappointment. Much disappointment. मुझे बहुत ज़्यादा disappointment हुआ है. Next is 10th one. Fill in the blank by choosing the correct option to complete the line given below. The roads have been widened so much that 6 lanes of vehicles will be accommodated. Okay, जिसमें 6 lanes of vehicles will be accommodated together. So the correct answer is will. Complete the given sentence with the correct form of verb. It is important to dash a healthy atmosphere. It's in simple present tense. So the answer will be create. That is option number C. The last one is fill in the blank by using the correct form of the word in the bracket. Mahi dashed the task given to her and went out to play. Okay, so this is simple past tense. Went is written over here. So we know that this sentence is in past tense. So shirk will turn into shirked. Okay. Next comes creative writing skills. So the very first question is question number 4th, A part. It's convenience, variety, discounts and laziness are some of the reasons for the growing popularity of ordering food online. You are Santa Sohail, student editor for the National Times, compose a letter in about 120 words to the editor of the newspaper highlighting the adverse effects of takeout food ordered online. Emphasize on the overall well-being of eating home-cooked meals. Basically, आपसे पूछा गया था कि आपको एक लेटर राइटिंग करनी है जहां पर आपको फूड ऑर्डर्ड ऑनलाइन और होममेड फूड के बीच में एक डिफरेंस बताना है और उसके इफेक्ट्स, साइड इफेक्ट्स बताने हैं कि अगर हम खाना ऑनलाइन ऑर्डर करते हैं तो उसके क्या साइड इफेक्ट्स हैं, और आपको इस पर एक एडिटर को लेटर लिखना है कि लोगों को होममेड फूड ज्यादा यूज करना चाहिए रादर देन ऑर्डरिंग समथिंग फ्रॉम अदर प्लेसेस. सो लेट्स डिस्कस द फॉर्मेट. 15th Basant Kunj, New Delhi, then the date, then comes the editor, the Hindustan Times, New Delhi, subject adverse effects of online food. Sir, okay, so here we are going to compare between online food that it's really very unhygienic, it's unhealthy, that if you are ordering the food, and on the other hand जो हमारा home cooked food होता है it's very hygienic, even it's good for health, it contains a lots of nutrients. Okay, it is good for the growth and development of a child. And along with that, if we are ordering food online from the restaurants, even we are not sure about hygiene and how they are preparing the food, what is the material used, we are not sure about that. So there is a vast difference between both of them. So we want you to just publish an article in your newspaper to aware the people around there that it's not good to order online. Sometimes it's okay, but every time, just to save your time, stop ordering food online so that your healths are not getting affected and you are actually having a good amount of food from your home. So the same thing is over here. Let's read what's written. I am a regular reader of your esteemed newspaper and wish to utilize it to draw attention of people towards the health hazards caused by takeout food ordered online and well-being of home-cooked meals. Nowadays, everyone prefers online ordered food delivered at home as it tastes good and also saves time. What is the basic reason why we are ordering food online? That it saves our time and even we get the food very quickly, and there are a lot of apps out there which are delivering the food to us within no time with a lot of courage, but we are not sure enough that how that food is affecting our body because we have not seen them preparing the food. But this food has no value as no vital nutrients provided by our body are present in it. It affects our body in a very dangerous way in long term. बहुत लंबे समय के बाद हमें इसके side effects पता चलते हैं. So you can state that one point again. Restaurants doesn't care for nutrients and cleanliness while preparing it. It is also costly in comparison to home cooked food. Home cooked food के comparison में ये बहुत ज़्यादा ही costly होता है. A meal prepared at home is far more hygienic. जबकि हम घर में जो खाना बनाते हैं it's very hygienic because we know that how we are preparing that particular food and how it is reacting to our body and how our body is responding towards that. We cannot be assured about the hygiene levels in the restaurant kitchens. Eating more homemade food then reduce our risk to contracting foodborne illness. And with reducing this online orders, what we can do is we can save our body by eating the homemade food. So what that particular person wants, so to aware people about takeout online food. So I want you to publish an article. इसलिए मैं चाहता हूँ कि आप अपने newspaper में एक article को publish करें. Now this is the conclusion. A letter must contain, the body of the letter should be like this, that there is an introduction, okay, and there is some information after a paragraph change regarding that particular topic. What are the facts, what are the advantages, what are the disadvantages, and a quick conclusion, okay, which actually relates to that particular topic. And at last, the name of the person who is writing that particular letter. So I'm sure that you guys must be remembering the format of the letter. So now let's jump on to the next question, which was in the option to this question is, you visited your hometown after a period of 4 years and were disappointed at the condition of the roads. They were in a state of disrepair. The uneven surface cracks and potholes were affecting daily commute and causing safety issues for the people. Now this question is what this question is telling. First, let's understand that. This question is all about that once you were visiting your hometown and you notice that the roads are not proper over there and there are a lot of cracks and even it is affecting the other people in the town. So now what we are going to do, you are Sulekha or Salim, write a letter to the director of the municipal corporation about 100 to 120 words. Okay, always remember that while writing in the writing skills, remember the word limit, that how much you are going to write. So they are asking for 100 to 120 words, drawing attention to the poor condition of roads, जहाँ पर आपको roads की poor condition के बारे में mention करना है, and the inconvenience caused, जिसकी वजह से लोगों को बहुत ज़्यादा inconvenience हो रही है. Request him to look into the matter and take early action. And you are going to request them to look into the matter and take early actions. So again, the format is the same. Let's discuss the content. I am writing to bring to your attention to deplorable condition of the roads in our hometown. अब यहाँ पर आपको ये बताना है कि आपको सबसे पहली लाइन में, in the beginning of the line, you are going to catch the attention of that particular reader so that he reads your letter. So how you are going to do that your beginning should be perfect. The roads are filled with uneven surfaces. Discuss your problem very widely that the person who is there next, who is reading this particular letter, must be knowing it effectively. It extremely difficult for vehicles to navigate. बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है that the vehicles can just cross from over there. This has led to numerous accidents and significant traffic congestion, causing great inconvenience to the residents. Additionally, the dust and debris from these poorly maintained roads pose serious health hazards. It becomes more dangerous after evening, especially for strangers. शाम के समय it's very difficult in the evening, that it's very difficult for people to cross the road because it's too dark and the roads are not even proper. So in this particular letter, you are going to discuss those advantages and disadvantages. Okay, maximum in this letter you are going to discuss the disadvantages. आपको यहाँ पर maximum disadvantages discuss करने थे. Why? So that the municipal corporation comes and builds the roads again. Okay, and again the last, the conclusion part and your name. Let's discuss the next question. Fifth one, it's regarding analytical paragraph. Okay, both the options were for analytical paragraph. The first analytical paragraph was about children's park in your colony, covered on all four sides with two gates. The highlights which were given to you were, first one was covered on all four sides with two gates, skating rink and basketball court in the park, swings in one corner for younger children, open ground for colony functions, specific timings. Okay, analyze the details of the park and write an analytical paragraph in about 120 words. Now again the word limit is very important, students. So analysis of the children's park. The children's park is our colony, is well equipped and suitable for kids of all age groups. हमारी कॉलोनी में जो चिल्ड्रंस पार्क है, इट्स गुड फॉर एवरीवन. इट इज कवर्ड ऑन ऑल फोर साइड्स विद टू गेट्स, ensuring safety. Okay, so now in this paragraph आपको क्या करना था कि इन सब highlights को लेकर you are going to build a paragraph. Okay, where you are going to put some of the vocabulary words and how you are elaborating that particular park in your own words by using these key points. Okay, so this basic question was given to you just to see that how you are framing it. आपको अगर की पॉइंट्स दिए जाएं तो आप कैसे उस चीज को बिल्डअप करोगे. सो इट वाज जस्ट टू चेक योर ग्रामेटिकल नॉलेज and your vocab, okay, how you are using it. The park includes a skating ring and a basketball court which encourage physical activities and promote fitness for younger children. There are swings in one corner making it a fun space for them. Additionally, the park has an open ground which can be used for colony functions and community gatherings. Okay, now this was addition. Okay, कि पार्क में हम कॉलोनी के फंक्शंस भी कर सकते हैं और कम्युनिटी गैदरिंग्स भी कर सकते हैं. सो इन दिस वे यू आर गोइंग टू एलैबोरेट योर थिंग इन द एनालिटिकल पैराग्राफ. यू आर सपोज टू डू दैट. Next is, there is an alarming increase in the percentage of students suffering from obesity. Given below are some of the findings of a survey conducted to identify causes. Now, there is a survey which was just conducted on the kids of age groups, of certain age groups, and the survey was regarding unhealthy diet, that is 40%, lack of exercise is 30%, stress and anxiety is 25%, genetic factors is 5%. So, on the basis of age group, so it's 0 to 5 years 13%, 5 to 8 years 20%, 8 to 12 years has maximum percentage of kids who are actually going through these things, it's 28%, 13 to 15 years is 25%, 16 to 18 is 14%. Now, अब आपको क्या करना था कि इस analytical paragraph में you were supposed to use all these factors and you are going to establish a paragraph. So, now the paragraph, what here is written, it's like obesity among students is increasing due to several reasons. The main cause is an unhealthy diet. Okay, so what is the main cause? It's an unhealthy diet, that is 40%. Okay, बच्चों की today, in today's world, the students or the kids out there, they are having a very unhealthy diet with excessive junk food, like we already discussed in online food orders and even the homemade food. So अगर आप चाहो तो आप यहाँ पर वो भी use कर सकते थे. I am hoping that most of you guys must have used that point. With excessive junk food and sugary drinks, lack of exercise is another most important factor. Students spend more time on screens. We are playing every time in our mobile phones, or we are just searching something or the other. Stress and anxiety from academics also led to overeating, while genetic factors make some students more prone to obesity. Okay, sometimes the genetic factors are also responsible. So, 0 to 5 years 13%, that means poor diet and limited physical activity. Remember that whenever you are writing, now you must have already given this particular thing, your paper is already done, but still in the next paper or in the next time when you are ever writing an analytical paragraph, remember that you are going to use that data. So, obesity affects the different types of age groups. 0 to 5 years, it's 13%. That means poor diet and limited physical activity. This really enhances your answer when you are using the data in the question. Okay. So, we have already discussed the two sections, that is section A and section B, and now it's a time for discussing the last section, that is section C, which is of literature. Okay, now let's discuss section C, which is the last section of this particular paper, and it's about literature. So, the very first question is question number 6. Read the given extract and answer the questions for any one of the two given. आपको दोनों extracts पढ़ने थे और किसी भी एक extract का answer लिखना था, and both the extract contains 4 questions each. So the very first extract is, that was 24 hours ago. Since then, nobody had come near him. The day before, all day long, he had watched his parents flying about with his brothers and sister, perfecting them in the art of flight, teaching them how to scheme and the waves and how to dive for fish. He had in fact seen his elder brother catch his first herring and devour it, standing on a rock while his parents circled around raising a proud cackle, and all the morning the whole family had walked about on the big plateau midway down the opposite cliff, taunting him for his cowardice. So basically, which chapter this extract is from? It's from his first flight. And the first question is, जो कि आप सबको शायद पता चली गया होगा after reading the extract. Fill in the blank with the correct word from the bracket. The use of the phrase proud cackle adds to a sense of, in the extract, adds to a sense of pride. Okay, it's not a noise, it's pride. Why? Because they were wanting that particular seagull to fly. That's why they all were doing such things. Second is, how do the parents teach their young to be independent? Parents put their young in real situations. How parents teach their young ones to be independent? They put them in a particular situation and the difficulty so that they can perfectly learn flying with expertise and become independent. ताकि उनके बच्चे अच्छे से उड़ना सीख सकें and they become independent. Next is describe the contrasting reaction of the parents to their children giving reasons. The young seagull's brother and sister were excited to learn flying, so the parents were praising and perfecting them in the art of flight, but the young seagull, being coward, was not ready to fly. Now in this particular thing, the young seagull was very coward, as you all know that, and he was really very scared to fly. But on the other hand, his brothers and sisters, they were not at all scared, and they learned flying very easily and on a very early stage, because it had become important to force him to fly. क्योंकि बहुत ज़रूरी हो गया था उसे ये सिखाना that how to fly. Next question is, the word or in the above extract most nearly means gobbled. Okay, the correct option is option number B, that is gobbled. So this was the very first extract of section C, and the just next to it was the extract from the proposal, that is of Lomov and Natalia. Now in this particular conversation, Lomov is telling, hear me out, I implore you, the peasant of your father's grandfather, as I have already had the honor of explaining to you, used to bake bricks for my aunt's grandmother. Now my aunt's grandmother wishing to make them a present. Natalia, I can't make head or tail of all this about aunts and grandfathers and grandmothers. The meadows are ours, that's all. They both are having an argument. That was in the beginning of the chapter when Lomov just went to Natalia's house for where he took a marriage proposal for her, and they both just fell into an argument regarding the meadows. Lomov, fine. Natalia, ours. You can go proving it for 2 days and end. So you all must have understood from which chapter this particular extract was from. Let's see the very first question. What is Lomov pleading for? To be heard. What he was pleading means what he was requesting for, that listen to me. Okay. The next question is, what effect does the following sentence have on Natalia? Why? The peasants of your father's grandfather used to bake bricks for my aunt's grandmother. What this statement actually, how this statement affected Natalia? This statement of Lomov shows his attitude of pride and vanity. He wanted to show that he was more wealthy than Natalia. So Natalia became furious and she could not bear the insult by this statement. Okay. Next is, fill in the blank with the correct word from the bracket. The use of the phrase can't make head or tail adds to a sense of confusion. Okay, where Natalia was totally confused with the statements what Lomov was giving to her. What is Lomov trying to prove? Lomov is trying to prove that the oxen meadows are his property only, not of Natalia's father. What he was telling, that this is my property and not of yours, father. Next is 7th question, and the very first extract is from the tale of the custard dragon. Belinda was as brave as a barrel full of beers, and Ink and Blink chased lions down the stairs. Mustard was as brave as a tiger in the rage, but Custard cried for a nice safe cage. Belinda tickled him, she tickled him unmerciful. Ink, Blink and Mustard, they rudely called him Percival. So basically this is from the tale of Custard the dragon, and here they are explaining in this particular extract that how was everybody at Belinda's home. So the very first question is, what poetic device is used in the first sentence? It's alliteration and simile. So whatever you have written the answer, it can be alliteration as well as simile. The second question is, what was ironical about Custard being referred to as Percival? Why we call Custard as Percival? Because he lacked strength and courage. He was not so courageous, even he was quite of coward nature. So that's why he was called Percival. Same was with Percival, as he was an illiterate and coward person. Complete the following suitably. The word unmerciful in the given context implies that Belinda is very cruel towards Custard. Why? Because she thinks that he is a coward and he can't do anything for her. And whereas the other animals in her house, they are much capable, okay, than custard. The last question is, what image of custard is created in the above lines? Custard was the most coward living being in the house. Okay, so that means in this particular extract we can see that custard was the most coward person in the house. Next, second extract was, don't bite your nails, Amanda. Don't hunch your shoulders, Amanda. Stop that slouching and sit up straight, Amanda. There is a languid emerald sea where the sole inhabitant is me, a mermaid drifting blissfully. Now, this particular extract was from Amanda, where her mother is scolding her and Amanda is lost in her own dreams that she wants to be a mermaid and wants to be free from her mother so that she don't get such scoldings. The very first question is, what image does the above extract create about Amanda's mother? Amanda's mother was constantly controlling her, that don't do this, don't do that, so that's why it's a controlling nature. Why is second verse written in bracket? To emphasize on Amanda's imagination, because as if it would be continued, then it will look like that everything is being told by her mother, but no, it's just justifying her imagination. While her mother was speaking, she was lost in some another world of mermaid, and comparison with her to her mother's instruction. Third one is, Amanda calls herself a mermaid because Amanda longs to be free like a mermaid which sails effortlessly in the sea. Fourth, Amanda wants to be the sole inhabitant in the sea. Explain, she wants to live on an island where she is the only inhabitant. वो एक ऐसे आइलैंड पर जाना चाहती थी जहां पर उसे कोई कंट्रोल ना करे, एंड शी इज द ओनली वन ओवर देयर. शी लव्स फ्रीडम, she loves drifting blissfully like a mermaid on that lonely island. Okay, so basically Amanda wants to be on that particular island alone. Next was question number 8, where you were having an option of any 4 questions. Okay, आपको कोई भी 4 questions करने थे, and it contains 3 marks each. So the very first question is, illustrate Lencho's unwavering faith in the divine. Lencho के unwavering faith जो कि उसका God में था, उसे define करना है. Lencho has good faith in God. Lencho's cornfield has been completely destroyed by the storm and hailstorm. Basically Lencho की जो fields थे वो completely destroy हो चुके थे, but Lencho का जो faith था God में, हम सब ने उस chapter में पढ़ा है, वो कभी भी नहीं टूटा था. Okay, he was having a blind faith in God. He thought that the only one hope the help from God, so he decided to write a letter to God asking for 100 pesos. In order to resow his field, he placed a stamp on the letter and dropped into the mailbox. One of the employees, who was a postman, went to his boss and showed him the letter to God. He was inspired by the writer's faith in God in order not to shake. Now basically, what you are going to write down in this particular answer is regarding the overall view of the chapter, that how Lencho was having the faith in God, then what happened, he wrote a letter, okay, and he just put that letter in the post office and the postmaster read it. He felt very bad for Lencho and he thought that such persons are very less on this earth and his faith should not break. So he just collected money for him and he just delivered that money to him by the name of God. But after all this also, Lencho को ये यकीन नहीं हुआ था that it is actually sent by the God, because God can never take back his 30 pesos. There were only 70 pesos. He was sure that God could not have made a mistake, and the post office employees are the real crooks, okay, that they have stolen that particular money. This shows Lencho's faith in God. Okay, so all the necessary points regarding the chapter, all the key points should be there in this particular answer. Next is, in what way did Nelson Mandela's yearning for freedom alter the course of his life? कैसे नेल्सन मंडेला की फ्रीडम को लेकर जो चाहत थी उसने उनकी लाइफ को चेंज कर दिया. अब यहाँ पर भी सेम चीज है. In the childhood, he was not thinking of the freedom. He just thinks that freedom is just for his family. But later on, when he just grew up, what happened? Mandela realized in his youth that it was not just freedom that was being curtailed, but the freedom of all blacks. ये freedom सिर्फ मेरा नहीं है, ये freedom मेरे साथ वाले सभी लोगों का है. The hunger for his own freedom gradually turned into the hunger of freedom of his people. उसके अपने freedom की hunger तो नहीं थी, but अब उसे freedom किसके लिए चाहिए था? अपने सभी के सभी लोगों के लिए. This desire of a non-racial society transformed him into a virtuous and self-sacrificing man. Okay, he sacrificed himself for his people. So you were about to just disclose what was there in that particular chapter of Nelson Mandela in your own words. So the next question is it ethical to enclose wild animals within cage? Discuss with reference to the poem A Tiger in the Zoo. Confining wild animals into the cage raises significant ethical concern. Wild animals are meant to roam freely. बेसिकली जो वाइल्ड एनिमल्स होते हैं उन्हें बाहर खुले में अच्छे से घूमना चाहिए. दे आर मेंट फॉर फॉरेस्ट एरियाज, दे आर नॉट मेंट टू बी केप्ट इन द केजेस. Caging them off leads to physical and psychological stress, and that's why we are losing many of the wild animals. Moreover, it disrupts ecosystem and can contribute to species extinction, while some argue that captivity can aid in conservation efforts. It is crucial to prioritize the well-being of the animals and consider alternatives like sanctuaries that provide a more natural environment. Ultimately, the right approach should focus on preserving the wildlife in the natural habitats. Okay. Next question is, upon encountering the deceased cow on the road, Valli was emotional. Now again, it's a value-based question where you are going to describe the feeling of Valli, that how does she felt. So she was suddenly lost its charm and its life and looked so horrible and frightening. After that, she did not even look outside the bus. She was very scared. By looking to the truth of life. How does modern India recognize the tradition of courage and bravery in Kurgi culture? The Kurgi tradition of courage and bravery has been recognized by awarding the Kurg regiment of the army. As we all know that in Kurgi culture, they were the only one who were licensed to keep the arms with them, firearms with them. So that's why we can say that their culture and their tradition was very courageous, okay? And they were having the very first army general from their town, so that's why. Next is 9th question, where you are going to answer any of the 2 questions out of 3. The first question is, education acts as a catalyst for a significant transformation in Bholi. Comment. Now again, it's a value-based question where you are going to write down that according to you, do education was effective for Bholi or not? In this speech, I will discuss how education serves as a powerful tool for empowerment, particularly in the case of Bholi. Because of education, she was able to recover her life. She was confident. She was standing in front of the people and she was really able to take a step or take a stand for herself, okay? Bholi, who faced numerous challenges and societal pressures, basically society has really pressurized her. One point can be this, found her strength through education. It enabled her to recognize her worth and stand up for herself. Now, how she stood up for herself? Because of education and her teachers who really encouraged her. Next is, refusing to accept our circumstances can result in an unhappy life, just like Matilda, okay, where she refused to accept the reality of life and she was wanting more and more and more, okay, and at the end the result was that she got nothing. So many people struggle to accept their circumstances, so it's very important to accept your reality rather than just following the footsteps of others and copying them. They often complain and wish for a different life. In the story The Necklace Matilda, Loisel exemplifies this mindset. She is discontent with her husband and dreams of a luxurious life, okay, and what they dreamed took her to the reality of life where she chooses to hide her mistake, which results in years of hardships. And if she would have discussed that particular matter with Madam Loisel, her life would be much more better than what she was actually going through. Next one is, how was the Hari Singh's appealing smile at the end different from similar smiles of his son on earlier occasions? How was Hari Singh's smile was different from beginning till end? So it was like that. Hari Singh smiled in the most appealing way towards the end of the story because he felt a sense of fulfillment and relief. Why he felt that? You were supposed to discuss that. Because he finally thought that all the efforts are really consumed. Why? Because he just felt that when he left home and did a crime, and when he came back, by stealing the money, he just came back and just put that money over there. So Hari Singh felt really good. Throughout the narrative, he had been involved in a series of events that led to transformation in his character. So Hari Singh was a thief, okay. So he just felt that whatever I am doing, now I have paid off for everything. Why? Because after doing all the crimes, he has did one good job, that to give back the money to him, to his master, who just taught him everything. Next is question number 10th, where you are again supposed to do one question, where two questions were given in the options simultaneously. Question number 10th and question number 11, you are going to do any one question which is of 6 marks. The very first question was again a value-based question. Self-doubt and fear often act as barriers to success. On the other hand, curiosity leads to learning new things. Justify the statement, citing instance of his first flight and writes, Madam rides the bus. You are going to take the reference from these two chapters and you are going to explain what do you understand by self-doubt and fear often act as barriers to success. सबसे पहले आपको इसका meaning बताना था, the introduction part, that what these two sentences state. One was that self-doubt and the second one is curiosity leads to learning new things. And after that, you were supposed to give the instances from both the chapters, his first flight and Madam rides the bus. So from the young age, we are influenced by societal standards that dictate what is acceptable or achievable, leading to ingrained beliefs about our abilities and worth. Since childhood, this is just a reference, just an answer for you guys, so that you may know that how you have written the answer and how you were supposed to write the answer, okay. So here in the very first paragraph, the introduction is given regarding these two lines. Then we are discussing about both the instances where the seagull and how Wali really came out of their zone and they learned something good and new. And the next question states that what distinguishes the portrayal of the tiger in the poem A Tiger in the Zoo, और वहीं दूसरी तरफ आपको compare करना था how to tell wild animals. So A Tiger in the Zoo is basically where the tiger is restricted in the cage, okay. You are going to do compare and contrast between both these chapters. Sympathetic, while How to Tell Wild Animals was an adventurous and awe-inspiring tone, okay, where different kinds of animals were explained. In 11th question, again any one of the following two questions, and your word limit, I am hoping that you guys must have watched out for the word limit out there. The first question is a diary entry. You were supposed to think that you are Bholi and explaining how you dare to take such a bold step of refusing to marry Bishambar. So now in this particular diary entry, आपको अपने आप को ये समझना था कि that we are writing the diary entry as Bholi and we are going to describe that how we can take such a bold step. आपको अपनी feeling लिखनी थी उस डायरी में कि कैसे आपने इतनी हिम्मत जुटाई कि आपने मैरी करने के लिए मना कर दिया बिशंबर को, okay. Now it must be in past tense and you are going to not change the tone, okay. You were not supposed to change the tone in this particular diary entry. You can't use that we have done that. So it's like regarding you are writing a diary entry from the perspective of Bholi, okay. So the format of diary entry, then let's jump on to the body. Today I refuse to marry the greedy Bishambar in front of my family. Now you are writing the diary entry on behalf of Bholi. So use the tone in that, you must have used the tone in that particular way, I am hoping that. Okay, so here she is explaining that how she took that particular step from a girl like me who was just like a cow in the house and nobody treated her well. And today, as I recall my childhood days, I used to be meek girl. I never spoke. My brain got damaged when I was just 10 months old. I was also a slow learner. I was sent to school and how her teacher encourages her teachers were encouraging her and how she just refused to marry Bishambar, a 50-year-old. But I could not stand his demand of dowry. I refused to fulfill Bishambar's demand of 5,000 rupees and refrained from entering into an alliance with him. Thus, education changed my attitude. How she took such a bold step because of education. This line was important in your diary entry. Okay. Next is, in the story A Triumph of Surgery, a wealthy woman's nonsensical behavior is depicted. Do you think such individuals are merely displaying foolishness, or could their actions potentially inflict harm upon others? क्या ऐसा हो सकता है कि किसी और के किए हुए harm?
हाँ, तो क्वेश्चन नंबर 37 देखते हैं. An object of mass m is projected from origin in a vertical xy plane at an angle of 45 degree with x axis. तो ये है XY प्लेन में 45 डिग्री पर V0 स्पीड से फेंकते हैं, ठीक है ना. और आपसे कहा है कि विद एन इनिशियल वेलोसिटी V0 द मैग्नीट्यूड ऑफ द एंड द डायरेक्शन ऑफ एंगुलर मोमेंटम ऑफ द ऑब्जेक्ट. देखिए, तो ये यूं जाएगा. तो यहाँ पर हाईएस्ट पॉइंट पर विद रेस्पेक्ट टू ओरिजिन व्हेन इट रीचेस टू मैक्सिमम हाइट, तो मैक्सिमम हाइट पर इसकी वेलोसिटी इस तरफ होगी V0/√2, V0 cos 45. तो V0 cos 45 का मतलब हो गया V0/√2. और इसका जो हाइट होगा वो चाहिएगा मुझे h, ठीक है. लिख लूंगा मैं इसको, क्योंकि अब जैसे एंगुलर मोमेंटम का क्या फॉर्मूला होता है, mv इंटू आर परपेंडिकुलर. अब ये v की जगह आ जाएगा mv0/√2 और r परपेंडिकुलर जो है, देखिए ओरिजिन के रिस्पेक्ट में, r परपेंडिकुलर जो होगा वो ये होगा h. तो मैं h लिख देता हूं. तो ये एंगुलर मोमेंटम होगा, तो mv0/√2 और ये होगा V0 स्क्वायर साइन स्क्वायर 45. साइन स्क्वायर 45 इज 1/2 और अपॉन 2g, तो ये 2g ये होगा. तो mv0³/4√2g हो जाएगा. तो ये दो ऑप्शन में है, ठीक है ना, इन दोनों में से. अब आपको इसका डायरेक्शन चेक करना है अलोंग नेगेटिव एक्स एक्सिस और अलोंग पॉजिटिव जेड एक्सिस, क्योंकि ये ऑप्शन तो इन दोनों में से मैच करेगा. तो देखो, डायरेक्शन देखने के लिए हमें पता है कि एल वेक्टर जो होता है वो आर वेक्टर क्रॉस पी वेक्टर होता है. तो ये आर वेक्टर है ओरिजिन के रिस्पेक्ट में और ये पी वेक्टर है. तो आर क्रॉस पी इस तरफ होगा, तो इस तरफ अपनी फिंगर कर्ल किए तो इनवर्ड आएगा.